Hello, Juice County. We are back. Believe it or not.
Yeah, somehow.
Somehow.
We fit in another show.
Welcome to It's Happening Show Reloaded. I am Jose Gloria, and I am joined by Dylan.
Hello.
Hello. We have an amazing, stupendous, phenomenal show for y'all tonight. We'll have with us the one and only Victor Valladares.
Woo.
It's Happening is in full effect. Man, it's been a while. It's been too long.
This is a Christmas present.
This is a Christmas miracle.
Or a loyal listenership.
All of y'all that stuck with us for 10 years that it's been 217 episodes. So we're blessed, stressed, but blessed, man. It's been a year.
Oh, yeah.
And there was too much to talk about, but we're just going to lift up a few things before we get into our awesome guest tonight. So yeah.
Quick stories.
Quick stories are not quite quick, but for stories nonetheless.
Heavy stories.
Heaviness. The world continues to explode, as y'all know.
As you know.
There's everything that could be going wrong is going wrong.
Basically, yeah. We miss a lot of news, guys, if you haven't tuned in for like 4 months.
Yeah, between the tariffs and, the genocide in Gaza and, the war in Venezuela that is brewing.
Oh, yeah.
Expected. There's just too much.
And supposedly we had a ceasefire with Gaza, which is like ceasefire is in effect when there are no killings and violent military incursions. So it's not much of a ceasefire if it's intermittent.
Correct.
But also earth-shattering, political event. Charlie Kirk's assassination has been really impactful, and it's kind of interesting to see like these political events occur and it breaking up like the right wing, and you seeing people like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson breaking off and kind of becoming anti-establishment and having that voice on the right. And it's just weird seeing how all the polls, political factions break up and split when these earth-shattering like events happen. So, I mean, there's plenty of critics of Trump coming from all sides of the political.
Yeah, no, it's shaped, reshaped, and shaped, and created this fractioning within the Republican Party that was all unified, and it seemed like Trump was just the leader and sending out marching orders, but the Epstein file.
Oh yeah, that did it.
Really kind of was that was
the camel that broke, or the
straw that
broke the camel's back.
Yeah. That thing, and of course with the Charlie Kirk shooting and a lot of the conspiracy theories that are coming out, but a lot of it also is around the America First and whether Israel and funding it, to the tune of billions of dollars a year is something that is truly America First, and so that's showing a situation where left and right can all agree that we need to stop giving them money to stop bombing children and families and doing all the the leveling. That's it's just incredible. To the levels that we didn't even see during World War II, the amount of decimation that was done in that, and all of defending Israel. So,
right.
And really the Democratic Party having to grapple with their complicity in a lot of these things. But last thing, is of course the more recent thing is war with Venezuela. Again, is this America First? When I thought we were about getting out of foreign affairs, wars, and we're bringing it to our doorsteps. There's been 80 plus people murdered through what many are deeming illegal strikes.
Right.
There was a double tap controversy with Pete Hegseth, of course. Where there's these rules even in war. Yeah. Where you're not supposed to do that.
Rules of engagement.
Yeah, you're not supposed to kill people that are injured, but they are just doing as much as they can, from tearing down the east wing of the White House to of course we'll get into the indiscriminate racially profiled raids and elimination of habeas corpus and due process. And of course cannot ignore the pardoning of all of these very corrupt people, from the former president of was it Honduras, to the person that was helping in his cryptocurrency scams. Just the list goes on and on. Like if you have money to give to his re-election campaign or to his some sort of business, then he's got a pardon or a nice deal for you, whether it's Saudi Arabia or other just nefarious characters. So
basically, right.
so much. But we'll definitely have to talk a little more about it in next year's shows.
Yeah.
Which there will be.
There'll be more time. Like if we have a show in like a month, we can spend time.
I know.
But you know,
we could spend. You could do a show on
dense.
each one of these.
But you guys know. You guys follow the news.
You know how it goes.
You know what's happening. But yeah, I did want to talk about one story that kind of hopefully will segue nicely into our interview here. It was a paper that came out this week from the Prison Policy Initiative. It was about how new ICE arrest data shows the power of state and local governments to curtail mass deportations. And basically this report, they did a FOIA to get a bunch of data from ICE, and they compiled a lot of this arrest data, and they're kind of finding that one of the findings was that state and local localities with stricter rules about not collaborating with ICE found fewer arrests. And they found that, so there's like a spectrum of policies you can have. Like they gave an example of Illinois being the strictest, where local jails can't transfer prisoners into ICE custody, and they have just really strict policies. They found the smallest growth or increase in arrests as a result of all these increase of ICE raids that have happened since Trump got into office, right? And they found that any Trump-friendly states and localities that work with ICE and deputize people to work with ICE, they found a much greater growth. And even people that struck a middle ground that just moderated it and just said, hey, we're not going to let you do this thing, but we'll cooperate this way, also saw a greater increase. So so it kind of goes back to maybe the best way to protect us was to be stricter about ICE and not to moderate on the policy. And then basically it showed like the major surges in ICE arrests happened, during his inauguration and then like late May and after, but that trajectory has gone up since then. Like it's a growing trend where like deportations arrests have increased at maybe 300-400% on the trajectory of going to like 500-600%. So it's a massive increase, and maybe it's not spiking right now, but the level is higher, much higher than it was in January. It's a big problem.
It's a big problem, and it's really created a lot of turmoil in Latino communities, and we'll definitely talk about it with Victor about it. But it's the more challenging things, of course, is that people are afraid to go out. People are afraid to take their kids to school. There've been just as recently as today here in Santana, there was somebody that I believe was taken there from outside of one of the high schools, and the more troubling thing is that, these people are petitioning themselves as saying we're going after the worst of the worst, and that's what they were saying during the campaign trail. But they were also saying mass deportations now. So I don't see that people like really thought that they were gonna like really be like is specific or with like just like a real like intentional, just we're going after only these kind of people. Like no, they really want to get rid of as many people as they can. And a lot of the statistics show that the vast majority of the people that are being taken do not have a criminal record. So we're talking about like folks that have been here for decades, not committed crime, had paid taxes, have a whole family here, and they're just being taken and treated like just like criminals, and then put into the detention centers. Of course, we saw Gator Alcatraz that they attempted to do. Luckily, that was pushed. That was stricken down. And other places, they're planning on building like massive immigration detention centers to just house, hundreds of thousands of people, because it is part of the prison industrial complex, right? That has criminalized people of color since after slavery and the civil rights movement. That then was like, well, how do we continue to keep these folks down in their place and profit off of their labor or them being housed, and so Core Civic and all these other companies are just Geo Group are making a killing right now off of the oppression of people of color in this country. So it's really sad, and I really worry about where we are going to be in January when a lot of these new funding from the big horrible bill that was passed that is literally creating an army, bigger than most countries in the world. Like top 10 biggest standing army is going to be immigration and customs enforcement. And as we've seen, like they've lowered the bar significantly. We have a lot of people that shouldn't, be a security guard, let alone like have a badge and be able to wield this much power and abuse people. And you see it, that they're just really vile, horrible folks that, that just do this from of a place of real anger. Many of them January Sixers, etc. Just real proud boy type of people that are coming in here and terrorizing our communities. But yeah, I think it's important this data that shows that how when communities like Santana or like Garden Grove, like Anaheim, but in particular Santana, where there was a sanctuary city policy that was passed by, the council or former mayor Sarmiento, now county supervisor, and the progressive majority, that stopped the participation and collaboration between ICE and the local jails, and also immigration defense funds to be able to help people fight their deportations cases. But in recent time, of course, there's been like more financial support. Like Garden Grove passed a policy, and Anaheim passed some sort of support for communities. Fullerton, it was attempted, but weird Democrats there, were stood up against it. So there's just. It just goes to show you that there's just a lot that can be done on the local level, including like California passing a law, banning people, law enforcement from covering up their faces. We'll see if that goes into play when it gets enacted in January. It's up in the Supreme Court, but Supreme Court has really, just rubber stamped a lot of like the worst, inclinations of the Trump administration and his enablers. So
Right. Yeah, I'm glad the local state level laws do protect a lot. But one other takeaway from this article is that so in areas that were more favorable for Trump, the arrests happen more at the jails and stuff, because they're like, hey, it's easier to pick people up from the jail. But in communities that fought back more, they increased raids because they don't have access to the people in jail as much. Right, in California, it's hard. You have to be like be convicted of some certain serious crimes for that to happen, right? Because otherwise we can't share information with ICE. So they send more raids to the more liberal states, and that's why that's a big issue here. We've definitely seen a fair share of that.
Yeah,
in Southern California.
That is what they're arguing, right? With Greg Bovino and other folks are saying, we're doing these kinds of raids because you all have sanctuary city policies that don't allow us to take them from the jails and stuff. But, they're showing up to courthouses. Now they're taking folks that are married to citizens, applying for their green card, just a routine kind of, show up and they're just taking them right there. College students, graduates, it's, just heartbreaking visuals and stories of these little kids crying as they see their mothers and fathers being taken away. It's just
horrible.
And of course, the Chicago, operation, whatever, like fascist, Black helicopters, Black Hawk helicopters, where they literally rappelled down into a building. And most of those folks were let go. It was just a big show of force just to show like, yeah, we can bring the militarization that has been happening, frankly, in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and, in Gaza to our doorsteps. So this is nothing new, but it's new in the sense that we're experiencing what a lot of the world has been experiencing around, through the military might of this country.
Yeah, we're turning it more toward ourselves.
Yeah, and lastly, of course, so it's just unfortunate, but a lot of us that know better know that this did not, just become like this overnight. There was a lot that the Democrats could have done and should have done to stop this when they had the chance. But, they really tried to, like with Bill Clinton signing the tough on crime bill and Obama deporting many more people than any other president before him. They're constantly trying to prove to the country and to, the voters that they can be just as tough as the Republicans. And look, and they always get pitted as open borders and, pro LGBT, like, pro trans, and, just get typecast into, no matter how much you try, you're never going to out Republican the Republicans. We don't freaking get it.
That was the Obama story. Yeah.
But I am really excited to go ahead and bring on to the show the one and only Victor Valladares. So Victor Valladares is a local immigration rights activist, videographer, social media influencer, progressive politics operative, and overall chingon.
There you go.
Welcome to the show, good sir.
What's up, y'all? Thank you all so much for having me here.
Yeah,
Welcome.
man. Yeah. So, you've been busy. Know that you've been in this game for quite some time, working with the Latino community, the immigrant community. And so, and where I first met you, you were doing a lot of important work in Oakview Comunidad. So I'd love to hear a little bit about how you got started in advocacy and immigration rights and other work that you were doing as far as the community work that you were doing in Huntington Beach and other places.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. So my advocacy work started in 2015 with an environmental issue, right? Plaguing our community, environmental racism, which was a key word that really triggered a bunch of Republicans, environmental racism. But slowly and surely, I just started getting involved in other advocacy that affected our community. I looked around me and I'm like, oh, what's important in our community? Obviously the sky rents and, gentrification. And I started off with an organization that I now work for, Resilience Orange County. Before they were Raiz, before they merged with Santana Boys and Men of Color. And that's how I met a lot of activists here in Santana, because it was very rare and unique to see somebody stand up from the other part of town, like Huntington Beach.
Mm-hmm.
I got into renters' rights, immigrant rights, and so forth. And, I've progressed throughout the years and, I had no college education, high school dropout, formerly incarcerated. So my experience has been, different than a lot of folks, right? Than a lot of folks. I call it firsthand experience. And got involved in partisan politics, with the Democratic Party. Ran not knowing anything, not knowing a single damn thing from the party. And slowly but surely, like I've been navigating those spaces and showing folks where the positions of power lie to, influence those decision makers, right? Because a lot of us have issues with us high costs of rent or, stagnant wages, but yet we don't know who to, advocate for or to hold their feet to the fire, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've gained a lot of experience, good and bad, that's been done to me as well over the years. But right now, I would have to say that I'm in a very comfortable position where I'm at, and everything that I've learned, and as you all are doing too, passing the wisdom and knowledge to folks that may want to get involved in seeing what we could do to change our neighborhoods.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that's why we wanted you here, especially in light of all this immigration raids that are going on. You mentioned you were working with Resilience OCU now, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that position?
Yeah, so I started working with Resilience Orange County in 2022, I believe. God, I already forgot what year.
Yeah.
But I've been with them since 2022. I got hired as a data collecting specialist and field director. So a little bit prior to my experience, me and Jose worked together for the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020.
There you go.
We always say this, best damn campaign ever, right? So yeah,
Still Sanders.
Still Sanders.
Successful in this region, right?
Like, don't blame me. I voted for Bernie.
Exactly. So yeah, right now we work with youth in Orange County, specifically where we're located right now. We moved from Santana over to Costa Mesa. And did some organizing in Orange as well in our early years when I started working with them. But right now we're primarily focused in the city of Costa Mesa. We've been able to pass some really great policy, in such a short amount of time. We've been able to pass a rental assistance fund in Costa Mesa. We've been able to pass an emergency eviction protection ordinance, which is basically an amendment to AB 1482, which both of us have worked at the state level, the Tenants Protection Act.
Yep.
SB 567 to strengthen that piece of legislation, but we enacted it locally in Costa Mesa. And just recently, Costa Mesa is the second city, if I recall correctly, with an immigration legal defense fund, which is amazing.
Oh, cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. Us too, right? Santa Ana.
Yeah, every city should have it, but I mean it's not easy, right? And so it took a lot
Well,
of work.
Fullerton just tabled that item.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really gut wrenching, and but it's just like such a low hanging fruit, and it's like really y'all are immigrants. You are representing immigrant communities in Fullerton. Such a large percentage of the community there is impacted by this, and you're just going to be like, oh, we don't have the money, but you have money for other stuff. But that's kind of where you get involved in the political process because you want to impact it and share that. So, I know that there's a C3 work that y'all do with the Resilience OC, to try to push for policy and then organize community, right, to know their rights. But then also there's the political aspect of things and getting involved in local politics and supporting candidates that are going to stand on business and defend our communities when the going gets tough. So I mean you were we were talking before we aired about a lot of the work that was being done by you and others when you were vice chair of the Democratic Party of Orange County, to push to abolish ICE, and how that was very much something that the party was trying to just shut down immediately. They're like, do not bring this up. We're going to lose elections. Blah, 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 blah.
Man.
And look at us now, right?
Yeah.
So like, so how do you see like your work there and maybe like shape like getting you to understand the difficulties of politically of trying to address like issues around immigration?
It's very difficult even to this day, even with the new maps that we just, I mean, the people of the state of California passed Prop 50, right?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still difficult right now. We're still, the whole abolish ICE resolution was something that, really, how do I say this? It was a powerful statement. It got watered down drastically, sadly, because people were always thinking about, we have to protect our elected officials. We have to protect our elected officials. We live in a purple district, or we're trying to flip these seats, and it's like, but what about our people, man? Like, what about our people? They're going through a lot. We're still going through a lot, even more than when this resolution came about. So it's still difficult to navigate. But now, the Trump polls are not in favor. Obviously, there was just a press release a couple of days ago, last week, that Border Patrol was going to stop doing those, raids at car washes, at Home Depot, allegedly. But, I don't believe anything this administration says. Yeah. I think they're just trying to find a way to just mask what they're doing and just be incognito. But we know what they're up to. And I feel that now that these maps are going to be, they're already approved. And when we go out and vote, we hold elected officials' feet to the fire to do something, about one of the words that I hate using is like, comprehensive immigration reform with a pathway to citizenship. We've all heard that. Everybody says
there should be an acronym for that.
Yeah.
So that's probably nice.
And it's like it's now or
housing.
never.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
It's now or never. Like y'all, at least here in California, I believe that we have to have strong leaders to initiate that and draft up some policy and actually just go through with your promises and not just false campaign promises that we've heard every single year, and our communities are just fed up with this.
It makes sense. And, sometimes we also have to take things in our own hand. I was kind of into our own hands. I was curious about what Migra Watch was. Is that part of Resilience OC?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've gone viral with Migra Watch recently, right? What strikes me the most is that you're like Johnny on the spot. You have like a network of folks that are you're communicating with, right? Because it's not just you, right? You're always very adamant about letting it be known. It's like this is the community, and I'm kind of just the intermediary between stuff. But also you're sharing a lot of information primarily in Spanish. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about how Migra Watch got started and the impact that you've seen?
Yeah, so there was 2 trainings that I took with my work, right? Some fellowships that I've been taking, and one of the easiest little things that always stuck to me outside of this fellowship was like, who is your audience? most of my content prior to June 9th, which is the day one of all the ICE raids that happened here in Orange County, our primary language that we use here, but all of our followers and the señoras, the people that I work with, all speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So that day, that just clicked, and I'm like, I just branded myself as the exclusive first person to be going live in Spanish, only in Spanish, because our directly impacted community members are, monolingual. Most of them aren't monolingual. So I started doing that on Facebook, and it just took off. I was over in LA, and when the raids started happening, and I believe it was June 7th and 8th, and I was over there. That's what my profile picture is currently still. But I was like, what are we going to do to prepare ourselves here in Orange County? Like, everybody got caught off guard. Nobody knew anything. And I've always said this live, and I'll say it now. All the years that we've had in organizing just completely go out the window. Everybody's new to this new style and tactics that these people are doing.
Yeah.
So nobody had experience because everybody was caught, in shock. Like, everyone was in shock. When I first heard about that, I was in Huntington Beach when I heard about the infamous raids that happened on MacArthur and Harbor. I was driving up Warner, and it was around 8:30 or 9 a.m. in the morning when I started seeing vehicles out of state. At the beginning, they were very uncommon, but that was the very first day that I started seeing license plates, out-of-state license plates, New Mexico, Texas license plates. And as I was driving eastbound on Warner, right off of Euclid and Warner, I saw the first time I've ever seen some federal agents, masked agents, tactical vests on. And I was like, whoa. And I had them on my live feeds. Most of my content has gone viral because people did not see that. Like, we've never seen I personally have never seen it like that, right? Oh, yeah. So it was the very first time that we started seeing that. And that same day, I captured maybe three raids on day one. And community has just been amazing to support and report everything. One of the phrases that I've currently using now in Spanish is like, si ven algo, digan algo. Because we always heard that in the Democratic Party. When you see something, say something. So I use that, and it's caught along. And yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, like, do you collaborate? Because I know other groups, this is usually like a regional thing, and there'll be like different people that step up to do this kind of work. Like, do you collaborate with other like people who are looking out for this stuff to share information? How does that work?
So how we started, I've always been an activist, right? Since I started going live and all that. We were all in chaos. Like, we didn't know anything. We're just running around like a headless chicken, not having any, lines of communication, seeing who's our allies. So we were just running around and just documenting whatever. We came, I think it took about 3 days to kind of ground ourselves and kind of like get a plan and see what we're going to be doing. I've had, amazing patrollers now. We were very hesitant to say patrollers because of the legality of what we could do, right? We're patrolling in the sense that we're, being proactive and filming and documenting, using our, constitutionally protected rights to document the police and any law enforcement agency, right? That's what we do. We never interfere. We're there just to capture, what's going on, making sure that they're not breaking the law, which a lot of the times that we do see is that they are breaking the law.
Right.
But we can't get in between. We can't say anything,
Sure.
And is just documenting has just been the best tool right now. And this is outside of my work. So I do this on my own, spare time. And we've just been able to organize really well with community members and, the community, the señoras, man, seriously, like our señoras, our monolingual Spanish-speaking people have been the ones that we've created a system on how to communicate and go verify and not just post anything. Because even to this day, we're still a lot of people, you see a lot of posts that, they're here, they're in Santana, but where exactly? Like, we try not to generalize because that's when you spread panic.
So you can kind of help your audience like recognize that those signs that would highly indicate that a raid's happening. So your tips are better. People are more aware. And
yeah, so what to look for, correct.
Yeah. And I'm sure this information can be helped to identify that person or help other people avoid the raid, or I don't know. Because you have to, you're in your lane as far as legality. You can't intercede and like stop them legally, right? So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure it must be like frustrating. Yeah, to see how they just come into a community and they start pushing señoras and pepper spraying.
It was enraging. It was enraging at first when you started seeing that, man. It's like frustrating, but at the same time, like we know that what we're doing right now is not illegal. But with this administration, all of our freedoms that some of us take for granted, some people take for granted, like this could be illegal one day. This guy is crazy. He could say that documenting is illegal.
Yeah.
At one point, I was really scared about that, and I was kind of like, maybe I shouldn't go out every single day in the morning and tip or inform the community that they're out here. I had some people that have actually, one individual who tipped me that they were off of Garfield and Beach Boulevard, and he called me the following day, and they had already arrested him for tipping, for calling,
For
calling us, so they know. I bullshit you not. I had a meeting with our team. Like there was this raid that happened on St. Gertrude in Santana, and I went there, and I was gonna go up to an officer, and I do the interview style. I was like, hey man, how could you sleep at night? Like, how could you do this? And like, what's your name? Like, I go, I don't hide my face. I don't do anything. I'm like, we're going up against the most powerful government and question, documenting them. And for me, I've always been transparent. It's like, I ain't doing anything illegal. But this individual who resided in Huntington Beach, he called me the following day that, hey man, like, they picked me up. They knew that we were calling you guys patrollers, that somebody was tipping them off because they couldn't get the people that they're looking for.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, that was very, very, very scary. Like my team, hopefully they're watching. We had that meeting, and I'm like, dude, I'm not making this up. Listen, this is what happened.
I mean, we saw here in Santana that there was like a ice watcher that the guy gets out of his vehicle and starts pointing a gun, like a couple of times actually. That they're just it's like and the police kind of just stands back. It's like, dang, you guys are crazy. It's like like we've always had issues with police brutality and police overstepping, their authority. But it's like ICE is them on steroids, and they feel very empowered, right? And there's a lot of stuff that we thought that they couldn't do, and now that they can't. Like the little red cards that we used to give the communities, like
that's out the window now.
Yeah, we had some other folks here on the show, and before everything kind of changed, and the conversation we were having then, before everything just kind of went to the next level. It's just like, man, like we thought that educating ourselves and knowing what the difference is between a warrant and whatever was going to be enough. Like, it's like, no, they are busting windows and dragging people out and not really caring. So, but I mean, but a lot of communities are standing up and fighting back and really defending and preventing more people being taken than would have, right? So it's not like you can't help and save everybody, but some people are in fact helping, right?
Absolutely, and it's like
And that's what matters.
Exactly, right. And just the more people, our white allies as well have been super helpful. They've also other community members. I've seen shout outs to the people that have hubs in Anaheim, Santana, and it's like we're here for one cause. To protect as many people as possible when we can. We can't be here. We're not saviors. We're not saviors. We're not saviors. I always say this 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Because it takes a community, it takes a village, and the more people see these injustices, hopefully it'll, spark, something where they want to go out there. Just having presence and these, Home Depots or car washes is very impactful.
Yeah.
And I was kind of curious because this work has seemed very necessary, especially with these increases of raids that have happening. I don't know. You probably have a lot of experience and can break down a timeline of when these raids, especially in Southern California, have started. And
yes, bro. Oh my
ones.
God. So that's one of the things. There's so much has been happening. It's so much information where you it's very difficult to be creating a timeline, right? So I try as much as possible, but I know that the ICE raid started here in Orange County around 8 a.m. in the morning or earlier on June 9th. That's when we first started seeing, I call them, we're currently in our 3rd wave. So this is my timeline and what I've brought up in my head.
Yeah.
The timeline is June 9th. All the way through July 11th is when we saw the district court issues a TRO halting raids due to racial profiling or how you look or how you speak, right, with accents. So around that time, from June to July 11th, that was like the peak of, just unprecedented raids everywhere around Orange County, LA County, etc. And there was like this sense of a little bit of relief in community because once the TRO came down on July 11th, people were still on high alert, high alert, high alert. But then people started going out a little bit more. They started going to swap meets a little bit more. And then I remember this day on August 1st is the Ninth Circuit upholds the TRO on August 1st. And I remember I was watching a movie. I had just come out of the movie theater. And I saw the press conference. That happened on the weekend. And on August 4th, there was an LA press conference. And granted, there's still a TRO right now that, made it illegal to be racially profiling, which now it's legal. But at that time, it was illegal here in California.
Yeah.
So rates did drastically, go down. But there were targeted operations that were still happening. So we were still being active.
Yeah.
What happened on the following day after the ICE press conference in LA, I was in Huntington Beach. I was heading over to work. But before work, I had received information that there was ICE presence at the Huntington Beach Library. And there was about 30 agents there, bro, like 30 agents on August 5th. Because that day we want to go, was one of our final sessions with work, having Derek Tran, Congressman Derek Tran on August 5th. I remember that vividly. Because the following day is when, ICE or the Border Patrol made a huge publicity stunt. Did their whole Trojan horse. Do y'all remember the whole Trojan horse where they got outside of a Penske truck and all that stuff that happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, we started seeing
Wasn't it a U-Haul van?
U-Haul, Penske, one of those big trucks. So for me, then that was like the beginning. I believe it was like mid-August is when Brett Kavanaugh made his motion or his statement that these are constitutionally they are legal to do, right? And then the big ugly bill started happening. The PAT already passed, and then what I considered like the third wave is like starting in October 1st. In October 1st was when some of the budget money was going to be injected and so forth. And right now we're just, people. I've heard a lot of people just tell me like, hey, if we go out and vote, because there's a component of electoral politics on this, right? To combat the Trump administration and flipping the House of Representatives and approving this map before we get, more people that are going to be holding this administration accountable. Some people have been thinking that just because we won Prop 50, things have been slowing down. I'm like, it's not going to slow down. I tell people, like, just please brace yourselves at least from now until 2027. Nothing's going to change until the next,
the midterms.
The midterms, yeah.
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 In a moment when people really felt powerless, Prop 50, and I worked on the campaign and, was with the teams and it was across the state. It was a real galvanizing moment. And, all the conversations that I would hear from folks at the doors was like, it's like, is this against Trump? It's like, I don't like what he's doing and what's happening and stuff. There's very much a real sense of buyer's remorse from a lot of Latinos, Republican Latinos, independents, and even Democrats, some that voted on, for him because of their stance on abortion or their stance on other items. It's the Latino community supported Trump in a large way, and in some places in enough for him to win some of these battleground states. But there was this sense of they're only going to go after Venezuelans, or they're going to go after bad people, right? They're not going to go after my grandma or my mom or my cousin or because these are good people. They're going to go after the bad people, but that has not shown itself to really be the case, and so Prop 50 was an overwhelming win for the Democratic Party and for Latino communities here in California. But it was also coupled with other wins in other states, right? That the most recent one being in Miami, where there's a Democrat that won the mayor's race for the first time in like 30 years or something. So definitely the writing is on the wall, and Trump knows it, and he fears it, which is why he pushed Texas and other states to start this gerrymandering. And so, when I talk to communities, and I'm sure you say so as well, I say the same thing as you just mentioned. like we are gonna go through it for another year, until, because the elections are gonna happen in November, and then folks are not gonna be sworn in until January. And if we were to get a supermajority in the Senate and the House, we could impeach these people. We can impeach Trump and Vance,
Lock them up.
And yeah, and start and do all these other things. And Trump knows this. I mean, even Steve Bannon knows this. He said it to one of at an event. He's like, if we don't get our act together in the midterms, a lot of the people in this room are going to be in jail. I was like, that's right, motherfucker. Like, yeah, you should be afraid. But it's also. It's not just any blue will do, unless, of course, it's Zoran Mamdani, in which case, like, whoa, maybe not any blue will do. It's always funny how the Democratic Party it always tells progressives to get in line, but when it comes to a progressive, getting in there, like, then all of a sudden, we don't know about supporting every Democrat. But it's not just about just electing any Democrat, right? Like, we have to elect good Democrats that are going to push back. And you speak about Derek Tran. Like, a lot of folks were really upset over the Laken Riley Act, and other votes that he's taken. I think in recent time he's taken better votes, but it still leaves us in a situation. It's like we fought and voted to get you elected, and this is
especially for all the California delegation of Congress. Like, there should be absolutely no reason at all for them whatsoever to be flipping on committee. Like, we favor the maps for you, so your seats are secure. So now take a bold, approach to policy. Especially the congressional delegation in California has to, stand up and do something.
Yeah, where you stand on this is probably not, but it does have to do with it. How do you see the governor's race shaking out? I mean, Katie Porter was a front runner until it came out that she's
toxic.
Actually horrible,
Toxic boss.
which was very much a known thing with folks.
So for folks that don't know, like, I do sit on the executive board here locally at the county level and at the state level. I really haven't paid much attention on that because I've been really literally patrolling a lot.
Yeah.
But I know it's something that I have to seriously look into, because this is the fate of our state, And
so you're Team Antonio Villaraigosa.
Oh my God, no! Oh hell no, bro! Like, no, me and this guy is definitely no, dude.
No.
Especially after what he did with Costa Hawkins. Remember, 17, 18.
No. Just because
he's Latino, do not.
Latino quiere decir que es amigo.
No,
remember that, people. Villaraigosa. No. We want brown people in higher office.
Just not him.
Not him. Not that guy for sure. I'll take the rich white dude, Steiner, over. But yeah, no, it's right now. It's it's all hands on deck, right? The Migra Watch, but then there's of course Orange County Rapid Response Network, and then there's different organizations locally.
There's a lot of great
Defensa Santana.
Yeah,
there are various groups that are kind of coming together and maybe working together, but maybe not. But just being there at Home Depots and other places that they've come, and and just being there to try to help the community, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of autonomous groups as well. There's a lot of great organizations. Everybody that's out there, supporting the rights of immigrants. We're all in it for the right reasons.
Oh yeah, yeah. I want to kind of change subjects here, going back to this district election stuff in it's Huntington Beach, right?
Yes.
So this is an ongoing litigation that we're gonna wait till probably next year to hear about an update.
Yes. So that's something I've been working on, literally working on since 2017 when I met my lawyer Kevin Shankman.
Oh, wow.
I saw the lack of representation in my community. Going back to Huntington Beach, I live in a predominantly Latino community. It's called Oakview. It's bounded by Beach Boulevard, Warner, Slater, and Nichols. And representatives, no one ever has, really invested in our community or paid attention to the needs of our community. That's why I'm here, is because of the injustices that happened in Huntington Beach. And when I met Kevin Shankman, he's one of the top attorneys in the state of California that has been going around, suing cities for, representation for minorities, BIPOC community members. And we filed a lawsuit, I believe it was last year or 2 years ago or so. And I know that in 2017, he had sent a letter to Michael Gates, who, happened to move to Washington to work under the Trump administration. Now he's back because they fired him. But yeah, I mean, this case is ongoing. I think it'll be changing the trajectory of politics here in California, because a lot of the right wing MAGA shit comes from Huntington Beach, and as you all know, we have all MAGA representatives over there.
Right.
All MAGA.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think I read a little article, Voice of OC article about this, and they were saying there at that time there were two Latino council members, and they're like, well, shouldn't this suffice for that? What did he say? What do you guys say about that?
So it's not even about just electing a Latino. It's somebody that has everybody's interest, including the Latino community's, interest, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that, just like in any other city or throughout the country, the cost of living and rents are being too high. Somebody to address issues that are important to all community members, including Latinos.
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of these previous lawsuits, they were somewhat broken down along racial lines. Like the one in Santa Ana, I think, was related to
It was for Vietnamese voters.
community, and then Anaheim was probably the Latino community. But in this case, they're kind of saying, well, we kind of need someone that can represent this district, because this district, I mean, doesn't this go all the way back to the environmental racism stuff? They tend to zone things like industrial or
Waste
stuff like that next to the poor neighborhoods, and then they never get anyone in their district elected to do anything about them.
To advocate for them, yeah.
Yeah, so it's more about getting actual representation on the district level. Do you think that's fair?
Absolutely. I mean, so these folks talk about local control. That's what I always heard. The terminology in Huntington Beach is local control. These people they're the tyrant ones. Even here, how could California's its own state, right? We have assembly districts that, represent a certain geographical makeup of the electorate in those areas. So I see it like that. There's special needs for different parts of the community. You have your northwest Huntington Beach people, you have your downtown Huntington Beach people, you have your Huntington Harbor type of people, we have Oakview. All parts of Huntington Beach are not the same.
Yeah, that's what people don't get. You think about Huntington Beach, like, oh yeah, Surf Town, USA, blah blah blah. It's like, but drive to other parts of it, it's like, there's a lot of raza here. There's Huntington Beach was in the news recently because they lost their lawsuit to try to stop the housing development that is being pushed forth by California and Governor Newsom, and local control that you were saying. They're like, no, but it's this whole NIMBYism, right? That there's just like, we don't want to build more housing, but we want to keep our communities just the way it is, and we don't want to bring those kind of people, that will bring density into our areas. Of course, we know what that means now, and it's not even coded language at this point anymore.
Try to code it at
Nick
one point.
Fuentes and other people are just like, we don't want blacks and browns here. Like, that's just what we don't want. Deal with it. And I mean, there's neo-Nazis and stuff. And now with a full MAGA, city council, then they're just kind of really taken over. I mean, is there? Do you think that they will build the housing, or because the only thing that they have left is for it to go to the Supreme Court, but that's a very much a.
That sounds expensive.
Yeah,
it sounds expensive.
They only take 100 cases, out of the 7,000 that they get sent. So it just doesn't seem like this is going to happen. So I don't know. Do you think that they're going to build some housing?
I hope so. I do hope so.
Yeah,
I do hope so.
But where are you living at now?
Same Oakview.
Yeah.
No, it'll be Oakview.
Yeah.
So Oakview forever. Well, maybe not forever, but
in spirit at least.
Yeah, in spirit for sure.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, you've definitely put Oakview on the map in a lot of ways, and I
huge shout out to Oscar también, co-founder of Oakview Comunidad.
Oscar from
go.
HB.
Yeah.
C.
Oh, now Santana.
Yeah, formerly HB, now Oscar
In
from
spirit.
Santana.
In spirit.
But I mean, I've seen you on Univision, right? On Telemundo, perhaps. Just a lot of, you just kind of being able to put a big microphone to the work that is being organized by these señoras poderosas and these community members that are, not like laying down and just taking it. They're getting themselves organized and they're taking care of their people. That's inspiring, right? Like out of all of like the demoralizing and heartbreaking and heart-wrenching stuff that you get to see, and I mean, you know, you were coming in right now and you're just kind of like, yeah, man, I'm just, this is a lot. It's tough. You know, sometimes you got to just step away from social media because it's too much, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is inspiring and motivating, right? That all these folks are willing to care.
And the beautiful thing is, like, I believe in the train the trainer model. You know, anything that we're learning and all the knowledge and presentations that I've been able to create has been, you know, as we're learning together, we're on the same boat, we're in the same trajectory. And I've always told the señoras when I was a lot more active, was like, I don't want to do this, but we're learning together. You know, I'm going to be making mistakes along the way, but we're here to, like, you know, correct ourselves and co-create together. We're learning together. Now I feel comfortable, and they could tell you that I don't have to constantly always be there, you know, because now organizers or patrollers in the state, I would say, started with us in our group as well. You know, everybody knows Yayo, Ruben, Alicia. They organized throughout Southern California. You know, it's amazing. Like I you know, I love to plan ahead. You know, as former field directors, we have to plan ahead and see the bigger picture, right? Like I talked about the election earlier, but I tell people this is a three-pronged approach with electoral politics. One, the special election. Two is the midterm election, the primary. And then three will be the general election. And just because that we did that and we go out and vote for people that are going to be, you know, holding this administration accountable, this is where the action just barely starts. Because now, just because we get them in office, it's not going to be a cure or solution for everything. Now we have to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
And making sure that they follow through the policies.
Doesn't end
so,
there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I tell folks, I think, no, this is just we're one step closer. Two more steps, right? Two more steps to go. The midterm and the general.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you know, talked about this before. It's when I was working with my team with Prop 50, that's kind of, what I was letting them know. Like, nobody's talking to these folks yet. Next year, everybody's going to be knocking on their doors. But right now, like, you have their, you know, their ear, and you really need to do some, like, voter, like, engagement and / like, shaking them, you know, and being like, this is not a silver bullet. There is no silver bullet. Like, this is just one step, and you have to understand that, like, you got to vote at every election, and you have to educate yourself, or, you know, align yourself, or you know, or work with people or organizations that can help guide you, because it's tough, right? I really feel for folks that go into the voting booth, and it's like sending people to take the SATs, and you didn't even give them like a you know, cheat sheet or a guide, or, you know, or nothing. Like, they're like, all right, Latinos, all right,
Sure,
Latino, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, you know, like, or they'll just leave it blank. It's like, I'll vote for that person. I know that person, and that's it, you know. But yeah, there's just so much work that needs to be done to. So, because not all Latinos are amigos. You know, a lot of them are vendidos. And, so, you know, sometimes we'll take a white person like Bernie Sanders over, you know, a POC or whatnot.
And sometimes you want Tom Tate over someone else.
Tom Tate.
Weirdly enough, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
So it does. You need to know who you're
over Harry
voting for,
Sidhu.
right? Because you never know. You know what I'm saying?
But you're gonna say something?
Yeah, no, I mean, I just, you know, I want to say this to, you know, our community. Now more than ever, the ball's in our court right now. These districts are gerrymandered. The Latino vote is going to be more powerful than ever. And I feel that we just have to, the ball's in our court. We have to make sure that, you know, we demand, you know, bold policies. Because there's no reason for people to say, well, you know, it's a tight race. It's a tight race. It's a tight race. No, it's not. You know, your seats are secure, but it is up to us. For us, we don't have to convince. We have to make people believe and inspire them. You know, because change is not going to come by itself. We're going to have to be the ones, you know, out in the streets, you know, knocking on doors and voting first and foremost.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the ball's in our court, and, you know, through it all, even with the whole abolish ICE that we mentioned earlier, there's a lot more support from, you know, Democrat candidates. You know, I know that with the Working Families Party is, you know, just like a huge force across, you know, the state and across the nation that is really vetting and you know, propping people up. And, you know, there is challenges with the framing of the conversation. I think we can all kind of agree that defunding the police is not necessarily the greatest, slogan, nor is that something that our communities frankly want. Like they want to feel protected by, somebody like I'm in danger, I'm getting beat up or whatever. I want to be able to call the police and then they help me, not like somebody gets killed because they didn't know how to de-escalate or whatever, right? So, but in with Abolish ICE, even sensible folks that might have scoffed at the notion because of everything that's gone on now, like there is like a real conversation. It's like, well, at the very least we have to significantly defund it, away from where it is now, that it's just over the top, like you just throw stupid money at it. That it doesn't even need, and maybe we don't need ICE. Maybe we just need DHS, and it's just or just Border Patrol, or eliminate ERO. But there's like all like the 7 different agencies, and now they're looping in the FBI and IRS. Like this is
The Marshals.
It's crazy, man. It's just crazy. I mean, you see as the future, if, let's put it like in the best case scenario, the Democrats take back the House and the Senate in a year, and then they take the presidency in 3.
I want to be optimistic, but history is history. There hasn't really been much done. The establishment has just been holding our communities from thriving, with a comprehensive immigration reform, with a pathway to citizenship, right? But I want to believe. The party hasn't shown me anything yet to make me believe, but there's hope. There's hope, and that's the only thing we could just wish for is hope that something does change. But we'll do our part. Y'all are doing an amazing job in informing community members. For there to actually be justice for our communities so they could live with dignity and respect.
Yeah, and I think you're right we need to continue holding people's feet to the fire, because once you get someone in, it doesn't guarantee anything, right?
Yeah.
We can just keep expressing what the community, what the people want. And if we can't get it through that, it needs to be got through. Like, that's why I respect what you do a lot, because you're taking personal initiative. You're forming a community-based group that does something for people, and you're not waiting for someone to pass it somewhere else. We can't always control all those things, but you're seizing what control you have and empowering others,
Thank you. Yeah, and I've told Jose, last time that we met at Oscars, the señoras, man, like the señoras, like women, people don't see that. They only see me. They only see me sometimes. It's like, no. Like, it's the people that just, we came together for, a cause to inform people, and they're the ones that are still, making these phone calls whenever we get tips to, go verify, all of this. So just community, honestly, that really motivates me and inspires me to keep doing this, because I do get tired. I have crashed, and I'm like, I need some time, and I thank my partner, for grounding me as well, to take care of me, because we know each other. It's like we get lost in the cause. We get lost in the cause, and we could just get sucked into it, bro. And it's very hard to disconnect. And it's like, okay, it's not all on us. It's all of us, right? And having priorities, right? Being taking care of myself, my mental well-being, and my partner, and so forth, and enjoying in life, because we can't be living in trauma. And because it sucks, and a lot of our folks are going through that, and I just commend everybody and for putting in their grano de arena, just to make things happen.
Oh,
Takes a village.
Takes a village, baby. And the work is plentiful, but the laborers are few.
Yeah,
Of course.
Yeah, no, but I think the more impactful work that you can do and have done is be able to empower other folks to take ownership of the issue of their responsibility into us, and be like, it's not about me, it's about you, it's about all of us, and
not me, us.
Because and a lot of times with the nonprofit industrial complex, like and as I've experienced it, there's a lot of the savior complex, and the victim and stuff, and so people always tell me, it's like, you should run for office, or like, you can, like, I support you. It's like, no, I don't need you to support me. I need you to come out and join me and join the picket or join the march or come speak at a city council meeting.
No, you save me.
You guys,
I trust you.
You do it. You do it.
Please,
You do it.
please do that.
No.
Right.
Hey.
I mean, you hear that all the time. But no, it's the most impactful thing that you could do is create another one of you.
Yes.
Train
Yeah,
I need to
like-
clone you. I follow.
Yeah.
No, like gremlin status.
Yeah.
Pour a little water. I just saw that movie the other
There you
day,
go.
by the way, and it's pretty freaking awesome and crazy too. The freaking gremlins are at the bar,
Gremlins? Was it
smoking
Gremlins?
cigarettes and drinking.
Was it Gremlins 2 though?
No, it was Gremlins 1.
Oh, I
dude.
think you ought to keep looking. It gets more insane.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Freaking
good.
Gremlins.
Good times. I wanted to go back really quickly and touch on that idea of burnout. You're saying, you can get too lost in the work. And I was kind of want to relate it back to the Green Bay Packers. Is there
Oh, yes. It's the segue I was waiting for.
I'm still grieving from
You
yesterday,
believe
bro.
more
Oh
in
my
the
God.
Green Bay
you
winning the
can't
championship?
live in trauma. You cannot live in
Jesus. Oh my
but
God.
no, but I was thinking is there space for activism within the sports fan realm, or should you reserve a part of your life that isn't connected to that so you have a space to decompress? You know what I mean?
I use football, I guess, to kind of disconnect, especially like on Sundays or whenever they play. Try to disconnect and just that's my childhood. Grew up watching the Packers. Fun fact, because I know a lot of people are wondering, how the hell are you a Packer fan? I hear it a lot. And as a brown man here in California. So when the LA's, exactly, when all the LA teams left, I believe it was in 5th grade, I had to do a book report. I loved the color green, read their history, fell in love with the team, and Brett Favre was Brett. So I chose them, stuck with them, and I've never looked back.
Yeah. There you go.
Brett, all
That
my
makes
heroes
sense.
let me down.
That helps you. That helps.
That
It's
helps
a
me, yeah.
healing force.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, man. Because I think people do need a space.
Aren't they community owned too?
Yeah, they're the
only
only team.
Oh, yeah?
owned.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do like the Green Bay Packers for that reason.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
I didn't know that would
Shareholders,
tie into,
yeah, shareholders.
socialism somehow.
In Wisconsin, right? The socialist
awesome.
team.
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, well, this has been a great conversation, brother. I think, there's just we tackled a lot of issues. I think the last thing I'd like to hear is is there a presidential candidate that you are
Bernie.
potentially
Burn, come back, Burn.
Bernie at
AOC.
83? Who do you think we are in a pivotal moment in American politics, right? We're starting to see the future of a post-Trump reality, right? I think with Marjorie Taylor Greene, resigning from her post and kind of being at odds with Trump to a degree, in the sense that she was staying true to the America First movement and kind of creating that wedge between MAGA and America First. There's overlap, but there's two different things as how she is trying to position herself and others, Tucker Carlson and stuff. But the Democratic Party is going through a sort of kind of moment too. I mean, similar to where it was between Hillary and Bernie Sanders previously. But the Zoran Mondami and AOCs and and other folks kind of presenting this vision for the party, and then you have the Hakeem Jeffries and these other folks.
Nancy Pelosi's.
and Mayo Pete Buttigieg, and other folks that are going to be gunning for the position. I mean, JD Vance and Marco Rubio are going to duke it out and see who and Ted Cruz, of course, and then we'll see who it is. But the Democratic Party, who do you see being top contenders?
I do love the trolling that Gavin's doing. That's do something, but obviously he's doing it maybe to just troll Trump. But I hope he doesn't do the same thing when he's in office. If he does become there, but it's my pick. Obviously would be AOC, would be my first pick. But I really, again, just like the governor's race, I really haven't looked much into it based on what people are projecting that Gavin's going to be running, or
Kamala.
Or
Kamala.
Oh boy.
oh, that's another conversation for another day.
You're done. You had your shot. No, It's like Hillary were to come back
They
right
should.
now. It's like,
It could be a Kamala Hillary ticket.
we gotta go, Pokemon, go to the polls. All of a sudden she comes like Hillary.
She
nobody
said-
Oh my
pays
God,
for
that was
Pokemon
good.
Go anymore.
I love that.
Sit down. You and Bill have done enough harm. Yeah. Well, yeah. I think we'll see. But no, I'm with you. I think AOC has, and she'll just be right in the like where she's old enough, to run. Who knows? I used to think like, country's not ready for a freaking Latina.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Latina and a progressive, but who knows, man? Who would have thunk that, Trump would have, definitely not the Republican
It's
Party.
unexpected. Yeah.
They did everything that they could to try to stop this guy, and he just imposed himself on the party. I don't know if the Democrats' progressive front has the same wherewithal. I think there's a lot of rules, and procedures. You would know better than anybody, the amount of rules and procedures that the Democratic Party at the state level and national level have to prevent, that
The
kind of
DNC
insurrection.
races are very important.
What?
The DNC races on who they could support. Everything starts from the machine there. The DNC.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
They got their super delegates.
Well, that's why I support you, buddy. You're our savior.
Save us.
Save us, please. I don't know.
I'll show you the way now. You go through it. You do it. You apply.
Yeah, Zen Master. Okay, so Victor, it's been a really good conversation with you, brother. I appreciate you. So, where can folks find you? The different pages on various social media fronts that you're broadcasting, organizing, sharing information.
Yeah, so y'all could find me. It's Victor Valladares on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Vigilant OC. But follow our compadres, Alicia Reyes, Yayo, Ruben Nicanor, Jose Ramirez, Santana Stand Up. There's so many other folks. I've just barely met Wet Dog not too long ago. Wet Dog, his partner. La Patrullera. There's a lot of folks out there. I'd be more than happy to share them on my Facebook profile.
For sure. Yeah, we'll definitely link all of his stuff on the YouTube and the Facebook page. So, but yeah, it's been an incredible ride, and I personally worked with you with the Sanders campaign. I saw you at work in Oakview. I seen you at Resilience OC. I see you at No Kings marches. And just documenting and I've seen the organizer and the techie, and just the strategic brilliance that you bring to whatever but I've also enjoyed seeing the creative side of you that you've brought recently with the videos and all of the social media type of stuff. I think it's really important and very necessary. En español, ¿no? La comunidad necesita escuchar más en nuestro lenguaje acerca de los temas que nos importan, y en el momento cuando vemos que Univision está literalmente enseñándolos por anuncios para reclutar a agentes de inmigración, de Christy No, o diciendo que nos deportemos, ¿no? Que podamos, pues ya se está viendo que no podemos siempre confiar en Univision y Telemundo y todas estas estaciones que se están comprando por las corporaciones y los millonarios que no tienen nuestros intereses como latinos en mente, pero por este momento más que nunca necesitamos las voces latinas como tú.
Sí, y eso es el poder, como dices, la revolución no va a ser televisada. La revolución no va a ser televisada. Algunos tienen que estar dando cuenta a quién confiar con confianza, que estén ahí en las calles con lo que está sucediendo en nuestras comunidades. Personas que podemos confiar, que ya sabemos que tienen mejor interés para la comunidad, porque las empresas siempre van a tener interés del dinero de donde viene.
Con dinero baila el perro, dice el dicho. All right. Well, thanks again, Victor. It's been real. And yeah, we'll be sharing all of the social media stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Another show in the books. Good sir.
Yeah. We did good. We did 5 shows this year.
I know.
Yeah.
And we got a secret hidden show that we're going to be releasing in the coming weeks. Woo! Yeah.
What?
It's not that secret, but it's gonna.
something.
It's coming out. It's coming out, and as well as a lot of different clips from this interview and past interviews coming in the new year. So yeah, it's exciting,
Special.
to getting it out there on the tickety tockety, and all that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For all the kids.
6, 7. And,
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Skibbity toilet,
Skibbity.
etc. Your skibbity riz.
Yeah.
They're like, you're like flossing, like.
It's like, dude, I don't. Yeah. Oh my God. Do people even floss anymore?
I mean,
Like, yeah.
6 or 7 of them. I don't know, dude. This is not good.
I know. I hate getting
To be
old. Sucks, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I yeah. I've my brother is a kid, and he's that age where everything's 6, 7. So
Yeah.
I got a lot of those jokes in on my Thanksgiving trip. So, so I think I earned my the privilege of saying a couple of those.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Staying hip with the cool kids.
Yeah, I know.
I totally feel like it was like, hello, fellow kids, with like the skateboard and the.
I too am cool. Yeah.
Chavo Ruco.
It's like, what's hip with it, yo? Homie Slice.
You still got it.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So thank you so much for all of y'all that joined us for the first time. Please like, follow us, subscribe on YouTube or on Facebook. We got Restream back, so we're gonna be live streaming on Facebook and YouTube. This is an important show that we still want to continue to keep going and moving. So we got interviews lined up for the next year. I know Lisa Ramirez, the lawyer, attorney that was instrumental in helping get Narciso out of prison. Narciso was one of the gentlemen that was taken here from Santana with 3 Marine sons. He was actually, during the testimony for Christy Nome, his sons were there. He was named and stuff. So we're gonna have a good conversation with her about all of the work that she's doing, to try to fight his case and other cases, as well as apparently she's running for office too. So
Hey, there you go.
the kind of people in Congress that we need, that could really just make the difference and start pushing the tide in our favor towards stuff and all sorts of other great interviews, around politics, but also, art and culture. We opening up the space to different artists here as well. It's Happening Studios 2.0.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, excited. Oh,
We can make it happen.
we lived through 2025, man. I think we're going to be able to make it another
Hang
year.
in there. Yeah.
Hang in there, buddy.
Yeah, big time.
More grays, less hair, more...
Still growing though, as people more like horizontally than anything.
for
but,
sure.
like,
Growing,
not,
Yeah.
like
yeah,
in a sense. Yeah.
breaking down slowly but surely.
Yes.
Ben Gay and Just for Men are part of the list for people looking to get me some for Christmas.
Oh, I have coupons for you.
Hey,
Speaking of that,
Let's get it.
Yeah.
all right, y'all. So thank you so much for joining us. I want to thank Edgar Silva, Iron Lion Media. Iron Lion Media. Yo, man. Putting it down
This is
here.
the new sound. Bro. It goes roar. Yeah, man. Rewind. Okay.
Gabriela Pencas, one and only trumpet extraordinaire. We did a dope ass show with him during Halloween. It was awesome. Want to do some more stuff. Ska is alive. Speaking of what we do to be able to keep sanity, we got to go live music. We got to, go to places where we can find our joy, because joy is part of the resistance. Never forget that. And hope that everybody's able to spend time with their families and loved ones during this time. Because we need to stick together and remember what matters the most. Is love will conquer all. Fuck Donald Trump. Down with the fascists. All power to the people. Let's go. From Dylan Thompson and Jose Gloria and all of us are in It's Happening family. We are signing off for 2025.
It's happening. Woo!